UTHM under Fakulti Kejuruteraan Mechanical and Pembuatan FKMP. He received his first degree in Mechanical Engineering in University of Michigan 2006. He then completed his journey in Master of Mechanical Engineering UTM in 2009. Hence, he received his doctoral studies in Fluid Dynamics Computing in USM 2014. So he is now a director of Pejabat Penerbit and also a main researcher in Fakulti Kejuruteraan Mechanical and Pembuatan Commercial Research Group CRG. His area of interest are in computational fluid dynamics, numerical method developments, and automotive engineering. He is now on 65 publications based on research gates. So without any delay, I will now pass the floor to Dr. Akmal.
Yes, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Should I be speaking in English or in Malay?
I think it's better in English, Doctor, because we have some foreigner here.
All right. Okay, let me share my screen first. Right, so hope you guys can see my slideshow. So Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning to everybody. Firstly, I would like to give my appreciation to the faculty of FTK UTHM for inviting me for this little bit of sharing information regarding MyCite journals and how we are going to go about publishing in these types of journals, right? So I am presenting on behalf of Pejabat Penerbit UTHM, UTHM Publishers Office. So if you are if you don't mind, let me share a little bit about Publishers Office before we continue with our actual presentation. Yeah.
Please do, Doctor. With all pleasure.
So there, our Publishers Office has been established for quite a while now, and our main task is to disseminate information, knowledge that is inherent in all the staff and students of UTHM to the society at large, right? So whatever type of new information, new knowledge, a new insight that you may have, please do consider publishing it in terms of written words or even in terms in the form of videos or other medium so that we can share it with society. So our main type of medium will be books, which is a category unto itself, and then there's book chapters, and then there's book series, modules, journals, proceeding, and even creative works. Okay, we are opening up our doors to the possibility of you guys publishing works that are not necessarily hard science, but maybe something that is creatively produced, not necessarily fiction either, maybe somewhere in between, right? So amongst other things, we produce and also we manage publication, the entire editorial process. We support everybody who strives to get their works published in those mediums that we have mentioned before. And then we maintain and update UTHM policies regarding publication. Also, we maintain the online journal system that is very relevant to us and our topic today. We try to help the Office of the Chancellery to protect the copyright of UTHM publications. And then we also manage some funds that you can use to fund your publication in other journals that are outside UTHM that charges article processing fees. You can reclaim those fees up to 2,000 ringgit with our publisher's office with certain prerequisites that you need to fulfill. And then we try to promote your publication efforts through social media and also through other mediums. And when the time comes, and if we get the suggestions from people in the university, we will apply possible candidates to awards that is given out by certain people, such as the Ministry of Education, the Majlis Penerbitan Malaysia, which is an alliance of publishers' office amongst IPTAs. So they yearly they give out awards to best publishers, best journal papers, best books, and so on. So every year we will submit names and candidates from UTHM to those awards. And so we are in the running for awards that are given out by them, right? These are some of the people that are involved in Penerbit UTHM. Myself, Dr. Azwan, Dr. Shazaitul, and Mr. Zamirul are the officers. A short summary of our publication efforts in 2021 and 2022. We've published 700 journal articles in 2022, 86 modules, a little bit less than previously, but this is because we are trying to convert some of these modules to books, textbooks that can be purchased by students. And then we also maintain publication of book chapters, proceeding papers, which is increasing, luckily. We are going to want to publish almost 2,000 proceeding articles this year. So we are very much hoping for FTK to continue with their efforts in their management of their proceeding. Then we have published 91 books in 2002. This year we will be hoping to maintain that number, particularly on the textbooks that we have mentioned earlier. Then there's other publications, for example, coffee table book, book series, and other types of publication. So amongst the tasks that we are involved with. Also, we maintain, as we have mentioned, the policies and guidelines of publication for the university. And these policies and guidelines, they are discussed and ratified by the Masyarakat Jawatan Kuasa Penerbitan University. So whatever ideas you may have regarding publication, regarding the management of publication or the policies that involve publication, you can mention it to us. We will try to discuss with the committee for further improvement in the future. Right. So let's move on to our topic for the day: the strategy to publish in MyCite journals. Right. Before we go straight to publication strategy, let's look at some of the definitions that we may use all throughout the presentation. So indexing is very related to these three things that you see in those on your screen now. One of them is bibliography. Bibliography is an academic study about organized listing of literary works and the systematic description of publication as physical cultural objects. So MyCite index, you will see later on, is a kind of bibliography. Okay, and this bibliography is the field of study of maintaining and cataloging publications, right? So from bibliography, we get bibliographic index, which is a database intended to help find a publication. It's a list, basically. Indices are used to search the literature of an academic field or discipline. So the list will provide information regarding what are the titles of the articles, the authors, the research area, the abstract, and so on and so forth. Even the citation list. Okay, and then there's a citation index, which is a type of bibliographic index. So it's a subset of bibliographic index, which is an index of citations between publications, allowing the user to easily establish which later documents cite which earlier document, meaning that it's a kind of a historical record of publication. Using citation index, you should be able to recognize which ones come first, who is the pioneer, who is the latecomer, what cites what, and why is it cited, and so on and so forth. So amongst the indexing bodies that are available, there's many different types of indexing bodies. The most famous of which are Clarivate Analytics. Clarivate Analytics is the entity that maintains Web of Science. So previously it's known as Web of Science Index, but now it's bought over by Clarivate Analytics. Okay, or now it's just Clarivate. Okay. Then we have Scopus, which is maintained by Elsevier. Other than that, we have multiple indexing bodies, such as, for example, Publons, which has been bought by Clarivate. So it's two of the same thing now. Then we have EBSCO, Semantic Scholar, Ulrich's Web, JGate, even Google Scholar does indexing now. And DOAJ, this is for open source open access journals, right? So with regards to the situation or the scenario in Malaysia, what we are very interested in is Web of Science and Scopus, because they are used by the Malaysian government for ratings and rankings, and also it's used by international ratings and ranking bodies to uh, to recognize the performance of universities. For example, I think Times Higher Education and also QS rankings, they use both Elsevier Scopus and Clarivate Analytics Web of Science as their main reference for publication record. So that's why we are focusing on that. We have also the ERA by the Australian Universities Network. We also recognize that as the main data provider for publications, right? So in order for your publication or your journal to be indexed, there are certain criteria, standards for which we need to fulfill. There are 5 main ones. Firstly, being your publication should be published in a medium that has the ISSN number. So similar to books, books have, if they are registered, they have ISBN number. So ISBN number is maintained by Perpustakaan Negara, Malaysian National Library. So Perpustakaan Negara, they keep records of ISBN number and also ISSN number. They manage it, they register it on behalf of us with the International ISSN office or ISBN office. So ISBN office is actually in, I think, if I'm not mistaken, either Paris or Zurich. I'm not sure which one. But this office maintains the ISSN and ISBN records for the entire world. So their representative in Malaysia is, of course, Perpustakaan Negara. Secondly, it's not absolutely necessary, but it's good if you have your papers with identifier, object identifier number, which is called DOI. DOI is like a security number for digital item. So this DOI number is registered by the penerbit UTHM with a company or a organization called Crossref. Okay, they maintain DOI. There's also other alternative companies that maintain different types of numbers, but so far in UTHM we use DOI number mainly. Okay, and then a publication needs to have regularly scheduled publication steps, right? So meaning that, for example, UTHM journals, mostly we publish twice a year. So that's called the publication schedule for our journals. Maybe other publications, they decide to publish maybe 3 times a year or once a month or even once a year. So those are still acceptable schedules. However, you cannot have a serial publication that publishes only once in 2 years or once in 5 years. Then it's not considered a serial publication, so you won't get to be able to apply for an ISSN number. Okay, so schedule of publication is very important in being able to be indexed by the indexing bodies. And then you have copyright. So If you notice, when you publish in UTHM journals, you will be clicking a few buttons during your submission process. One of these buttons allow you to submit your paper and transfer your copyright from yourself to publisher's office. So when you publish with any publisher, most probably the rights to publish does not belong to you anymore. It will belong to the publisher, meaning that you cannot reproduce your work and publish it elsewhere. So that's a very important thing to consider when publishing anywhere, not necessarily only in Penerbit UTHM, even in other places, the copyright shall be transferred to the publisher, and the publisher maintains full authority to the publication. And also that means that you cannot sell your publication to other places, and the publisher maintains a right to collect fees for your readers to read your articles. But in UTHM, we don't do that. Articles are free of charge to read and mostly free of charge to publish. Okay, we subsidize a lot of article publications, but there's some fees required, particularly for index journals with papers coming from outside sources. For example, in special issues, we do charge article processing charges because these special issues, they put on more load, more work to our editors, to our staff, and to our reviewers. Okay, so that's why we charge them. But our charges are still very competitive compared to other places, right? And finally, we have metadata. Metadata is a list of information regarding the publication of your article. For example, the title, the authors, keywords, abstract, the references, and so on. So these are called metadata, and they are kept within the online journal system that we maintain. So when indexing bodies want to index your article, they will be able to extract this metadata from the system directly. And that's a type of service that we do for our authors in maintaining the publication online, right? So why do we need such indexing? Scopus, Web of Science, and others is for a few important reasons. One of them is accessibility. If you're not indexed, for example, if you publish in book chapters that is not available online, then it's most probably very difficult for people to be aware that your publication exists. Okay. So accessibility, the dissemination of information that allows people to recognize and be aware of your publication, that is the key point of having indexing in journals. And then once we are in that league of accessibility, the indexing bodies will be doing data analysis to rate and rank your reputation and impact based on how many people read your article and how many people cite your articles. And this brings about the impact of your writing to the community and to society. So the more people cite your work, meaning that the more your work is deemed as important in the scientific community, which means that you are doing good research and also means that you are highly reputable in the scientific community. And lastly, we have the ability to increase readership. If you are indexed, the wider indexing body coverage that you participate in means that you will be able to be accessed by many people, not only locally, but also internationally. Even people from the opposite side of the globe will be able to read your work and will be able to cite it and use it in their future work or use it in their applications. Okay? So it's a kind of a knowledge sharing, and this knowledge sharing is beneficial to all humankind all over the world because it's an aggregation of every knowledge that human possesses. Okay. So in terms of indexing in UTHM, we have several participation, particularly in Elsevier and Scopus and Caribbean Analytics Web of Science. We have 3 journals indexed in Scopus, 3 journals indexed in Web of Science, 1 so far in DOAJ, and we are planning to get more into these 3. And importantly, we have 7 journals indexed in MyCite, which is our topic. And also we have more than 15 journals registered in Crossref to be able to get DOI numbers. Right, so moving to our particular focus, which is MyCite. MyCite comes from and maintained by a division of government called the Malaysian Citation Center under the Ministry of Higher Education. So it's called the nowadays it's called the Citation and Infometrics Division. Previously, it's called the Malaysian Citation Center. Okay. So they maintain data regarding publication of scholars in Malaysia through the Infometrics division, and they analyze the impact and also the reach of Malaysian scholars locally and also internationally. So it's established in 2011 to coordinate and the collation and dissemination of scholarly works, especially in journals, in conferences, proceedings, book chapters, books, and even theses. So MCC holds the MyCite, which is Malaysian Citation Index, okay, that analyzes and provides citation data, and also MyJournal, a journal management system that is paired with the MyCite indexing. Okay. So MyJournal is the Malaysian journal management system. It's used to register any and all Malaysian journals published by people in Malaysia with Malaysian ISSN number into the directory maintained by the Ministry of Higher Education. So if you and your friends, maybe you have a group or focus group or a research group or a center of education or a center of research, if you decide to start a journal, serial publication, then you will be, once you are done with the registration of ISSN and so forth, you will be registering, you will prefer to register in this MyJournal website so that it is officially recognized by the Ministry of Higher Education. So being able to be recognized by a ministry means that you are already reputable because this system, it keeps track of your publication records, and if, for example, your website goes down, you lose data, you lose the articles that you have already uploaded in your system, MyJournal will be able to still have it in their database, and you will be able to retrieve your information, your articles from this MyJournal system. Okay, at least that's what, in theory, the system is designed for. Okay? But however, MyJournal is sometimes not updated frequently. They update maybe a few times a year. So if you have newer articles that is not accessed by MyJournal yet, not saved, not kept by MyJournal yet, then maybe we won't be able to retrieve your newer articles if you lose it. Okay. So it's a service, it's a free service that is provided by the MCC, or Ministry of Higher Education, for journal editors. Okay. If you don't have any system for you to be able to publish, you can choose to use MyJournal system to publish your articles. Okay. Those journals that want to use online submission, having individual website for the journal, and want to do editorial process online, can use the system free of charge. You just register and they will help you with the processing of your articles. And MCC uses the system to edit article references to produce bibliometric statistics. So they accept all articles, they save all articles for them to make a bibliometric record and statistics, so that they can be kept as in the Malaysian repository. Okay, so it's a historical record. In the far future, people will be able to access whatever that we have published today based on these records. Okay, and on the other hand, from those records comes MyCite, which is derived from Malaysian Abstracting and Indexing System. It's established by University Malaya initially and developed by Digital Library Research Group at UM since 2007. So, and the project is taken over by the ministry with the aim to support accessibility and visibility of Malaysian journals. It's linked to MyJournal, so MyCite extracts information from MyJournal to be used in their database to analyze data and to come out with citation indexes. Okay. Altogether, this is last few years, it's not updated to the current status. There are 154, more than 154 journals under 5 main disciplines covered by MyJournal. Out of the 154 papers from MyJournal, or journals in MyJournal, 113 are reported in MyCite citation report as journals covered by MyCite. And they need to have published at least 2 issues in order to accrue citation count, impact, or H-index score. So not all MyJournal titles will be listed in MyCite. Only those that are cited by amongst the journals within MyCite will be listed in MyCite. For example, if we have JITA, which is a UTHM journal, and it is cited by another journal that is in MyCite, for example, JTET, okay, so that counts as one citation in MyCite. And if you have multiple citations from multiple sources, you will be able to build up the citation profile of your journal, and eventually you will be listed in MyCite. On the other hand, if you are if JITA is cited by a journal, maybe for example Nature, but Nature is not in MyCite, so you will not get a citation count for MyCite, and you will not be indexed by MyCite. Instead, you will be indexed by other like Google Scholar or even Scopus, because you're cited by a highly reputable journal. But no, not in MyCite, because MyCite only counts citations from journals that are already in MyCite. So that is a precursor to our strategy in publication in MyCite, right? So from the information that people in MCC gather within the MyCite database, they will produce a MyCite citation report, which kind of looks like this. You can actually go to the MyCite website right now. Just Google MyCite citation report, and you will be able to access information regarding all journals that are registered in my journal, their ISBN number, total articles, total citation, and even the H index of these journals, right? And as we mentioned earlier, UTHM has 7 journals listed in MyCite. We are hoping to have more journals listed in the near future. Okay, so what happens is the process of establishing a journal in MyCite is, firstly, you register in my journal. So you upload the journal articles, or maybe not necessarily upload it yourself. People from MCC will extract data from your system to be uploaded in their database of my journal, and the bibliographic information from these journal articles will be saved into the MyCite database and will be analyzed for their bibliometric statistics. And once it's done, MCC will come out with a yearly report that is called a citation report. Okay, the MyCite citation report is produced maybe once a year, or once in 2 years, or something like that, from which we can gather the citation scores, the H index of each journal, to see which journals are active in publication, which journals are being read by the scholars of Malaysia, and which journals are not necessarily that active compared to other journals, right? So we have 15 journal titles in my journal. We have registered all, most probably all journals and even proceedings in my journal. And so far, we have 7 listed in MyCite, and all journals in my journal are under yearly evaluation for MyCite, meaning that even journal from FTK and proceeding from FTK is evaluated yearly. Only what we need to do now is to increase our performance in terms of citation, not necessarily doing anything active participation in the increase of citation, but we try to do it naturally by promoting our journal and our proceeding to the surrounding society, right? So also related to my journal and MyCite is the ASEAN Citation Index. So if you are listed in MyCite, that means that you are also probably have the potential to be listed in the ASEAN Citation Index. For example, we have here IJIE, which is maintained by our editors, and one of our editors is an FTK staff. it's maintained by the publisher's office also. So once we have managed to get IGIE into MyCite, the ASEAN Citation Index automatically lists our journals into its bibliometric database. Okay, so not only we are cited or amongst Malaysian journals, we are also being viewed, being read, being cited by journals around the ASEAN countries. Okay, which is the advantage of having listed by MyCite and automatically also listed by the ASEAN Citation Index. Okay, and there's a even larger group of papers, group of journals that we call as the Asian Citation Index. So this is uh, a relatively newer citation index body, but so far we are not yet being listed by the Asian Citation Index. Hopefully we'll be able to be listed here soon. Okay, so moving on, we try to move through a few relevant information. This is the journal citation data for our UTHM journals. So these journals, they have been maintained and uploaded the information into Google Scholar initially. So after the first upload, then Google Scholar automatically extracts this journal information into its database. So what we have here is the comparison between some of the newer journals and the older journals that we have. For example, of course, IGSCET, IGIE, these journals have been around for quite a long time now, and therefore, obviously, their citation count will be significantly higher than other journals. However, we also have some newer journals that are performing quite well. For example, we have JSCDM here, a journal by FSKTM, having quite a number of citations, even from research papers that are listed in Scopus and Web of Science. So this is a good and healthy improvement by the journal, so that they may hopefully be indexed by international indexing bodies. However, it is with regret that we inform you that JSCDM has not been yet listed in MyCite. Okay, why? It's because of the issue that we have discussed earlier, because of the lack of citation from other journals in the MyCite database, which means that we are not being cited by even our own sister journals. Okay, we call this as sister journals, JTS, JTMB, JST. If the journals within the UTHM community that are already in the MyCite database, if they cite papers from JSCDM, it should be, in theory, very easy for JSCDM to be listed in MyCite. But unfortunately, it's not yet proven to be successful. So what we shall do in the future is to promote our own papers to be cited from amongst our friends, our fellow researchers within UTHM. Okay. And for example, we have JAITA and JAMIA and JEVA. These journals still have the potential to be increasing in terms of its citation if we promote the citation of these journals in the other articles that we send out to other publishers, right? So people who publish in IGIE, in GST, for example, in GTS, we shall try to promote the citation of journals in JITA, Jamia, JSON, and so on, and so forth during their editorial process. So we suggest that maybe these few papers are relevant for your particular current topic. So maybe perhaps you can cite some of these papers from JITA and Jamia in your article, and in that way, JITA and Jamia and Jeva, they will be more highly cited in terms of the MyCite journals. Okay. Similarly, for proceedings internally, at least in UTHM, we consider proceedings as on par with journals. Okay, but for the time being, UTHM Library lists UTHM proceedings as other publications, not journal publication. Right? Eventually, if they are registered in MyCite, for example, PEAT, which has a healthy citation count right now, if they are registered in MyCite eventually, we will announce the conversion of the PEAT journal proceeding to be upgraded into a journal so that they can be eventually listed in Scopus. Okay, so that's our strategy for the time being. We always discuss with the editorial board and also the faculty management to see whether the strategy suits the faculty strategy or not. But for the time being, that's our plan. Okay? If, for example, they don't agree with this type of plan, maybe we can still discuss and plan out other strategies for proceedings, particularly proceeding that is maintained by FTK. Okay? But so far, we see that there's potential here to be listed even in Scopus. So that's why it's very important for all faculty members, especially those in FTK, and in more global sense, every UTHM staff needs to prioritize the citation of papers that are already in UTHM journals so that they can be indexed in those reputable indexing body statistics. Okay. So right now, so far, up to January 2023, PEAT has 50 total citations. Okay, so hopefully, as the time progresses, within this year, we will be able to surpass this 50 number. Maybe this year we target up to 100 citations, and that will allow us to apply for Scopus indexing. At least apply, not necessarily get accepted, but we at least we'll be able to get in the picture of Scopus, right? So this is where we get the data from Google Scholar, right? This is example for Journal of Advanced Industrial Technology and Application, JITA. You can see the figure on your right-hand side, the citation value, citation count. Now there is a total of 21 citations, and the H index is already 3 because, as you may know, H index is counted by the minimum number of papers that is having the minimum similarly index value of citation. For example, if there are 3 papers cited by 3 other papers, so our citation number is 3. If there are 4 papers cited by 4 other papers, so citation H index will be 4, and so on and so forth. So based on our data that is obtained by Google Scholar, definitely the H index is 3 from the list that we see on your left here. Okay, so you see that there are 3 papers that is being cited the highest. One is from the volume 2, issue 2. So this is a relatively newer paper, and already it has 3 citations. And the other one is volume 1, issue 1. So this is amongst the earliest papers in JITA. And the other one is also the volume 1, issue 1. Okay, so what we can do as a staff member, try to, if you happen to write a journal article or a proceeding article that is having a similar or in a similar topic or having similar subject to these papers that are available in JITA, please by all means cite these papers in your article. It will help UTHM with the citation and also increase the readership, and also will be able to more quickly apply for the citation into the citation index database. Okay, so being cited means that it is being read. So the more it's cited means that the more it's being read, and that is our main objective of publication in terms of publishing journals and journal articles and proceeding articles. We want our work to be read. Okay? So the more we are cited, the more we leave a webometric imprint, which also highly affects the UTHM ranking in ratings and rankings systems. Okay, so similarly, we have citation data for PEAT, Progress in Engineering and Application Technology. This is an example where the highest citation is 7 by the paper entitled Development of Prototype Smart Door System with IoT Application. So of course, IoT is a hot topic nowadays, and it's obvious that it will be highly cited by a lot of other people, meaning that there's a possibility in the near future that our journal will be more popular from amongst the scientific community within Malaysia and within this region. Okay. So if you notice in the 4th entry of this list, a review on application of global positioning system in construction industry, this paper has 3 citations. Right? It only needs 1 more citation for PEAT to increase its H index to 4, meaning that if you cite these few papers, okay, not necessarily there's not that many citations required, you will be able to increase the H index of this journal or this proceeding to a higher value, okay, which means that it's more prestigious as compared to other proceedings is published within Malaysia. Okay, so that's also our ambition. We want proceedings that is similar to PEAT being cited, being indexed, and maybe become the premier point of reference for the scientific community from within the region. Okay, so there's one thing, however, that I would like to highlight. Okay, because of the number of papers that is available in PEAT, you will find that the citation score, if this proceeding is listed in Scopus, then it will be given a citation score in Scopus, and you will find that the citation score is relatively smaller than other journals or other proceedings, because citation score counts the citation instances divided by the number of papers. Meaning that if you have one citation, but only one paper in your journal, your citation score is 1. But if you have 10 citations, more citations than the first case, and you have 100 papers in your journal, meaning that your citation score is 0.1, lower than the first case. That means it's not necessarily that JITA is of a lesser quality than PEAT, because if you count the cite score, JITA will have a higher cite score, even though their citation count is smaller, because of the number of papers in JITA is not that many compared to the number of papers in PEAT. However, that's not our concern right now, because our concern is mainly to increase the number of citations so that we can be able to be listed in MyCite and also in Scopus, right? So, which comes to, and in the most important part of our discussion today, which is the indexing strategies for our journals and our proceedings. So, in order for you to publish successfully, it's not enough just to publish. You need to be able to publish successfully, meaning that you publish and then you get cited. Okay, that is what is meant by publishing successfully. So, what we can do to help UTHM, to help penerbit, and to help yourself is by firstly promoting your articles that you have published, especially if you have published in PEAT or in JITA or any other journals in UTHM. Okay, the promotion of articles is quite important for you to be able to reach out to other people that may be interested in the research topic that you have already written on. Okay, maybe you can choose to use social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even TikTok. Just create a story or a short video or a post that highlights the fact that you have already published in these journals, and hopefully your friends from amongst the scholarly community will be aware of your article, will read your article, and also will cite your articles. Okay? Promotion is the only main ethical way of us to increase our citation count naturally from a part with the advisement of editors to other researchers to cite our papers, right? And additionally, the second one will be to promote the citation of our friends from within the UTHM community in the future papers that we write. Okay, so if you are writing a paper right now, please be mindful of the fact that most probably your friends have already written papers previously with a similar subject matter, similar topic to your own paper, meaning that it's highly possible for you to be citing the works from previous other UTHM researchers. Of course, we don't want to promote self-citation, although it's still ethical, but we don't want it to be too highly practiced in UTHM. What we want is for you to cite papers by your friends, by your colleagues, by people in other faculties of UTHM, so that you increase the aggregate, the entire citation count of UTHM, which is very important in MyRA points, okay? And also so that the UTHM journals and UTHM proceedings will be able to be indexed by our indexing bodies such as MyCite. Okay. Additionally, if you happen to be a reviewer of PEAT or JITA or any other UTHM journals, you can suggest to authors of the paper that you review for them to cite relevant papers that has already been published by our UTHM journals. Okay, it's not unethical to do so. It's encouraged by not only UTHM Publishers Office, also encouraged by other publication houses, even Elsevier, even Wiley, even Springer. Most of their editors, they try to suggest, reviewers will try to suggest articles that are already published in the journal that you are trying to publish in. Please cite those articles to show that you are aware of the research topic, the previous work that has already been done, and you are aware of the depth of knowledge that has already been established by the previous researchers. So even if you are a reviewer, you can do your part in increasing the citation count of our journals and our proceedings by promoting. You are not forcing the authors to cite papers that is available in PEAT or JITA. You are merely suggesting. It's up to them to either cite, to follow your suggestion or not. Okay? But at least you are suggesting. You are making them aware of the existence of these previous papers that is relevant to their own research. Okay. And finally, this is more of a top level effort in terms of trying to establish a communication with other universities, maybe amongst MTON universities, amongst universities in Malaysia, amongst universities in the region. If you have MOU or MOA with the other universities, for example, you have MOU with Singaporean University, for example, you can do a paper swap, for example. Paper swap means that researchers from one particular university, they send articles to be published in the partner university journal, and the partner university journal will send a few articles to our own university to be published in our journals. So in that way, because we know that people within the community is having higher chance of being cited by their own friends, their own peers, or their own colleagues, it will also be increasing the possibility of the swap papers to be cited by the sister community or the partner university. Okay, so by swapping papers and enhancing the readability of the papers to the partner university, you can naturally increase your citation count, even having double the benefit, because the partner university will increase their own citation count and our university will increase our citation count due to the paper swapping. Okay, so that's the theoretical idea behind that. But so far, it's not being done very extensively. So what Pejabat Penerbit is hoping from FTK is to embark on this effort more vigorously in the future. If you have MOU with even not necessarily universities, MOU with industries, for example, I'm aware that you have MOU with Proton, for example. Maybe you can invite the industrial researchers from those companies to be writing in your article, okay, to be co-author. So it will increase the readability of your article because it will be read by the community of industrialists from your partner industry, and this will in turn make your article having a higher impact, not only for the scholarly community but also the industrial community. And there's one more strategy that is not available in the point here, but I would like to raise up this strategy, which is inviting reputable scholars from other universities outside of Malaysia into the journal to write, to be a board of editor, or even not necessarily board of editor, even just to write an article. Most probably they will not spend a lot of time because our journal and our proceeding is not yet indexed in international bodies except for Google Scholar, but maybe they can choose to send one of their students as the author for an article in our journal and our proceeding. And because of the weight and the reputability of these invited authors, perhaps we can increase the citation of our journal by a higher rate as compared to without this type of strategy. Okay. So if we notice, we are aware that some of the universities outside of Malaysia, in order for them to quickly increase their presence in global rankings, they hire highly cited researchers and renowned scholars from established universities to be their staff. Okay. And in this way, they will easily get the citation points, the reputability points that they require to be ranked higher in the university rankings. So similarly to that idea, we try to invite our friends or our former supervisors our colleagues from other universities that we have met in conferences, our partners in industry from other countries, for example. Those are potential co-authors that we can invite so that we can naturally increase our readership, because it's now being read not only by us, but also by communities outside of Malaysia. And hopefully, by having a higher readability, we can get a higher citation count, because when it's being read by other people, then other people may be interested to cite our work in their own work. And then finally, it will increase our chances of being cited by the indexing bodies. So in summary, it's not only our topic for today, not only are we discussing the strategy how to publish in a MyCite journal, our strategy is actually how to publish successfully by helping the journal itself to be indexed in a MyCite database and also in international database. So our hope is so that PEAT, JITA, or even other journals in UTHM to be quickly listed in MyCite. And once we are listed in MyCite, people in MCC will help us with the application to Scopus. They will give guidance, they will give consultation, will help us with the data analysis to ascertain our chances of being indexed by Scopus, Web of Science, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the first step will be being cited by MyCite journals, meaning starting with JTT, IGIE. If you publish in IGIE, please do remember to cite PEAT, cite JITA, and once you are cited enough by these MyCite journals, then you are listed in MyCite. Once you are listed in MyCite, the higher chance you will be able to get listed in Scopus. And once you are listed in Scopus, you will have higher chance to be listed in Web of Science. And once you are listed in Web of Science, there's higher chance for you to get impact factor for your research article and for your journal. Okay. So we have several more minutes before the end of my slot. So let me take a little bit of opportunity to promote a few other products of Penerbit UTHM for you to consider. Okay, right now we are in the campaign to publish a few other medium as parallel with research journals and research articles. One of them is original authorship, research books, creative books, edited books, also book chapters, book series, and ebooks. Okay, so we have all these mediums for you to publish. So it's up to you to choose which type of medium that is suitable for dissemination of your research output. We are also aggressively trying to move towards publishing textbooks. Okay, right now we are trying to convert a few already available modules for PNP, and I'm aware that FTK has a lot of modules published yearly. So we are trying to convert these modules into a higher level medium, which is the textbook. Okay, so why we convert into textbook? One is a textbook is considered as a a higher mark in Myra as compared to module. Module is just a general publication type of point, which is considerably less than books. Okay, books have higher marks in Myra. And secondly, books are better edited, meaning that books go through a review process similar to journals, whereas modules, the review process is not necessarily very tight as compared to books. For books, we do the whole editorial process, the review of internal review, and then we send to our external review. Then we send to turn it in for similarity report and so on, meaning that the quality of the book will be considered as higher than modules, and this will enhance the reputability of our P&P material, and even there's the possibility of us selling our books to outside community. For example, if a polytechnic wants to use our book as their reference, or if another university is interested in using our textbook as material for their P&P, then there's a bonus for us because we are being considered as reputable from other universities outside from our own UTHM circle. Okay, so if you have manuscript that you are very interested in converting into a textbook to be used for classes by students in your class, please do contact us so that we can help you, guide you with the improvement of the manuscript and eventually the publication of the textbook to be disseminated in class and also in the open market. Okay. Nowadays, we are stopping with the conversion of e-module because we have already converted a lot of module to e-module for P&P, but we are trying to get textbooks to be converted into e-textbooks to replace this e-module. Okay, we know that e-module is widely available outside of UTHM, whereas module is only distributed in amongst the UTHM staff and students. So it's quite a little bit of a danger for us to publish e-modules that is not thoroughly checked for similarities with other published sources. We could possibly get sued by other publication houses if it so happens that our modules or e-modules is deemed to be highly similar to other publications. That's why we try not to produce more e-modules. Instead, we try to produce e-books for textbooks, right? Because textbooks have already been checked for similarity and quality, right? A little bit more of information that may be of interest to you in terms of the dissemination of material that is published by Penerbit UTHM. Sometimes we do publish special issues in journals. For example, even in proceedings, there are a few proceedings that publish special issues. But for the case of JITA and PEAT, we advise the editorial teams from these journals and proceeding not to be publishing special issues for now until we are indexed in MyCite, or at least until we are indexed in ESCI Web of Science. Okay, because special issues are considered as a like a little bit minus point for publication in for indexing of in these indexing bodies. So we try to stop special issues for now for journals that have potential to be indexed by Web of Science or by MyCite. Okay. However, if you are interested in publishing in special issues already in Scopus, for example, IGIE, JTET, IGSCET, please do so. We have, I would like to announce that we are participating in the MTUN conference. Okay. UTHM is the host for this year. So when the poster comes out later this month or next month, please do submit to the MTUN conference because a few of the selected papers from MTUN conference will be published in IGIE and also IGSCET. Okay, so that's more opportunities for you to publish in the Scopus rated journals. Okay. And then if you happen to publish books with UTHM Publishers Office, we will periodically invite you for launching of your book and promotion of your book. For example, in the near future, we are going to the KL Book Festival, and we will try to invite one of the FTK staff that has recently published with us to join us in the KL Book Festival to launch the book. Okay, so hopefully it will go smoothly, and hopefully the author is available for launching, right? And also we have embarked on selling of the book outside of the regular bookstore that we have in UTHM. So nowadays we try to sell our books in eCentral, e-bookstore, even in Amazon, Shopee, and other online shopping platforms. Okay, so not only you can get the books from UTHM in e-bookstore UTHM, you can also access it by these platforms. Okay, if ebook, then you can go to eCentral. If physical book, maybe even Shopee or Amazon. Okay, so I think that's it for my part. I pass back to the this session speaker for any question and answer that you may have. Okay. So please do so if you have.
Thank you, Doctor. So I open a question to the floor. Do we have any questions? Let me see in the chat box. Doctor, someone asking if you could send the PowerPoint.
Yeah, sure. I will be sending it to you, and maybe you can pass it to the other participants. Right?
All right. Thank you, Doctor. Doctor, my question is maybe out of the topic today, but I will ask about a publication. So if I have one publication which is under review,
all right,
maybe accepted, but then after I correct the review, can I add my affiliation? Will it be a ethic issue or can possible?
It depends on the publisher. Sometimes some publishers allow the updating of affiliation, and some others may not allow such adding of information because of their effort in editing the article. There's going to be a problem if your article already has a DOI number. If it already has DOI number, then the publisher will need to update the article with new DOI number, or with maybe addendum. Maybe it will need to publish a new version of your article because of the change in information. So it depends on where the publication step is during your publication process.
If still in the early stage, can it be done?
In the early stage, then it's okay. It's no problem because it's not published yet. Even if it's already published online, sometimes the publisher will allow you to edit some stuff. For example, the acknowledgement, not necessarily data, but the acknowledgement, the affiliation, maybe edit a little bit on the abstract, and so on and so forth.
So it will not bring any ethical issue later.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Doctor. Thank you.
All right.
So that's it, I think. Don't forget to fill the form for the attendance link in the chat box for the participants. Okay. Then, if we have no more question, I think we will end our session today. Don't forget, we have second sessions at 10:30 a.m. That's all.
So,
Thank you,
yeah.
Doctor.
Thank you
Have a
everyone
nice
for
day.
listening. Yeah. Terima kasih semua.
Terima kasih, Doctor.
Selamat menyambut Hari Raya.